when you're working your sphere in itself, that is one pillar of doing business. So we often talk about doing business and what are your pillars? What do you want to focus on? Where do you want to really work on growing your business? And for me, being in real estate for over 20 years, I've always worked on working by referral before I even knew what that was about. And then I started hearing about a trainer named Brian Buffini. And when I started training through Brian Buffini, I said, this is doing business the way my grandmother treated family. You write notes. I have all my little note cards for 4th of July right beside me. You write notes, you wish people happy birthday, and you let them know that you care about them, that it's, a deeper relationship. And so as I learned more about that, I really created that as my major foundation of doing business. And then the pillars built around that are the various topics, and with one of those topics being working with seniors. So to me, I look at working by referral is my foundation that has helped me build my business successfully through all the years. And the topic of today being one of those pillars that I'm actually working on rebuilding. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what Michele has to say about this and what she can help us learn today. And we're hoping between both of us, we're hoping that you take away some really great nuggets that are not something that's just going to be knowledge, because knowledge is great, but putting it to practice is the critical thing. So really look forward to having a conversation with Michele. Michele, welcome, and thank you for being a part of this discussion today. And if
Thanks.
you would like to share a little bit more about you, and let's get going.
Okay, I'm ready.
Nice. So Michele, where are you located at? And give us a little history of you.
Okay, so I'm located down in Boca Raton, Florida, in between Fort Lauderdale and West Palm. If you look at the state of Florida, we're down at the southeast side, not the West Coast. We're not Tampa. We're not Jacksonville. We're not Orlando. We're down by Miami. So I've been here since 1978. I've been in Boca almost 50 years. And in my previous life, I was in pharmaceutical sales with Warner Lambert, Pfizer, Novavax, and got my license in real estate in 2003, and kind of rode that wave. And then the market crashed, and that was lots of fun. And some people on here went through that, and you understand that was devastating. Short sales and foreclosures. I didn't pivot fast enough, and when I finally got my head out of the sand, I went, oh my gosh, I need to focus on things that are more lifestyle driven versus economically driven. And that started my journey with probate. And that ended up segueing over into seniors downsizing, which we're going to be talking about today. And they go hand in hand. I've been married almost 35 years. I have 2 adult children, Kylie and Allie. I'm a dog mom. I like to thrift, and I usually have something on me that's thrifted. And I love wearing my Amazon finds. So there you go.
Nice. Well, I love hearing all of that because it is good to learn about what our own little backgrounds are and really find that commonality of things, and those connections are what helps build those relationships even deeper with one another. So thank you for sharing that. What kind of dog do you have?
I have two. They just got the speech. Every time
Ah,
I come on a live Zoom, they come in my office and I say, no farting, no scratching, no barking, no loud noises, like zip it. I have a yellow lab and I have a mini schnauzer rescue. I usually have 2 or 3 dogs at any given time. So I've got Brody and Benny over there.
nice. I have one golden retriever, and whenever I am near her on a Zoom, I have to tell her no snoring.
I know. They make the weirdest noises at the most inappropriate time. So
Yes.
they're in my office with me. and Benny's asleep. He was a hoarding house rescue from Miami. Um, Barbara, Christy Kruger from Miami Channel 10 rescued his brother. And there were 14 mini schnauzers that were rescued in 2020 from a hoarding house in
Oh
Miami.
my.
They think he was about 8 months old. And we had just lost our mini schnauzer that we had also adopted from Tri County here in Boca. But furry friends in Jupiter adopted and brought these minis. Anyways, he's the funniest dog I've ever had. And I think because of the hoarding, he likes to be up high. So I have a bench for him. And then occasionally I'll turn around and he'll be sitting on my dining room table like a cat, or I'll see him sitting on a chair. It's just the weirdest thing. But apparently his brother Fritz does the same thing because Christy and I share photos. And I'm like, does your dog do this? She's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, they're so weird.
Um, yeah,
So,
that is very cool. Yeah,
yeah.
they keep us company.
Yeah.
So with the pillar or additional bricks in our business of working our sphere, what
Yes.
what is, an initial highlight of working with seniors that you would be able to share with all of us?
So, as I said, I actually started with probate in 2012. And because of the similarities of the age, the dynamics of family, potentially a grief factor going on, it just kind of segued that way into the sphere that I was rebuilding at that time. So, the sphere of probate was attorneys, estate, probate, trust attorneys. Well, it turned out that elder law attorneys were part of that whole pillar. And as I was networking, I realized that they were quite abundant, especially in our area, which used to be known as a retirement community. Boca is no longer a retirement area. It is a business, Wall Street of the South. It's not exclusively like Boca del Vista from Seinfeld. Um, it's just a thriving, fantastic, globally known area. And so at the same time, though, we have a lot of 55 plus in retirement communities here. And we also have a lot of assisted living, independent living, and memory care, from the most affordable to luxury style in our area. So it just was a natural segue. And as I always say, with certain pillars and niches, because I am the queen bee of real estate niches, as I like to say, you have to really know if you're going to be passionate about the niche that you're looking at doing. And you have to have patience with seniors, and you have to understand what they're going through, what their family's going through. So it has to be a good fit for you and your business.
So true. And when it's that good fit, then you're being true to who you are,
Yeah,
because you can tell the difference when it's not a good fit and it's something that's really being forced.
right.
And that's an important factor, I would say.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. And myself, and through the years, I have found different, things that I thought were really exciting. And, I'm ready to do it. And then 2 weeks into it, I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Like,
yeah.
this
Not so
isn't something
sexy.
that's
It's not
not
so
true
fun.
to my being, You want to be true to your being.
Yeah, you do. And, my parents died at 57 and 61. I was like in my late 20s when my dad died, and I was in my early 30s when my mom died. So I'd gone through probate. My grandparents, were not really around either. So one of the things I do love about working with seniors is some of the conversations I have with them are really fantastic. And, 3 different times I've had the pleasure of working with World War II veterans. And my most recent one was in January. And it's just freaking fascinating to talk to like 90-year-olds who went through that time, and their perspective It's amazing. I'm in awe. And like most of them say, they're like, our family doesn't want to hear about this stuff anymore. I'm like, yeah, but I do. So talk to me.
Right. Well, and with you mentioning that, I think that's one of the important things in knowing working with seniors. You're not going to be typically, when you're able to have conversations with them, it's not going to be a 15, 20-minute conversation. It's not even going to be a 60-minute conversation. It's, you have to prepare for, they want to share life with you. They want to
Yeah.
share their life experience with you. So if you are not somebody who enjoys just sitting and listening to stories and stories after
Yeah.
stories, then this may not be the right clientele to be working towards attracting.
Right. Exactly. And being able to walk them through things, for example, like an e-sign or a docu-sign. And a lot of them are pretty techy. I mean, listen, most of them have cell phones. They have iPhones and stuff like that, which is great because the families want them to have that. It's a safety thing, it's a stand touch thing, it's a FaceTime thing. So they're not techy, surprisingly. I always said my parents, my mom would have been so confused. My dad was the first one on the block with, the projector TV and then getting HBO and all the gadgets. My mom would have been completely lost. But it's really fascinating to say, okay, you have email. They're fine. So that's their property. Nobody's signing for them, right? Unless they're not fine. And that's a POA situation. But walking them through, it's easy breezy. And I've done it a million times. And I'm so happy that we have the e-sign stuff because it's so much easier for seniors than having to go to the bank and then having to deal with someone at the bank and then having to get stuff notarized at the bank. All right, get out. And all of the above. So technology is actually our friend when it comes to the seniors in most cases, unless you are dealing with someone. Yes, Barbara, the 88-year-old aunt is on Facebook. Of course she is. Um, unless you're dealing with a dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, other things, and that you also have to be very aware of when you're going on a listing appointment if someone does have that, because you can't have somebody signing something who's not understanding what they're signing.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
need that power of attorney, and you need to make sure that they know what they're signing, they're aware of what they're signing, they know they're selling their property. And that's where things can get tricky sometimes, and you have to say, okay, hold on. And had something where um, he was power of attorney of his wife. She had some dementia, a little pre-Alzheimer's. But whenever I met her, she was very on her game. She knew what she was signing. She knew she was selling the house. But he also had power of attorney for her. So the big thing was I had to make sure I had power of attorney for him, God forbid, and for her, and that kind of thing. And I had it in my records so that I could share it with the attorney at the title company. Those are the things that you have to be more aware of when you're dealing with seniors.
So really, and what I'm hearing you say is you really have to assess your client's, situation. Like, who are you really working with and what are they comfortable with and capable of doing? Working with just more traditional home buyers, young families, we often talk about make sure we communicate with them the way they want to. Do they like to text? Do they want phone
Right.
calls? Do they want emails? But when we're working with seniors, from what you're saying, we need to assess what is the best way to communicate with them. Who else do we need to communicate with them on their behalf on the basis of what is their capability? And do although they have a cell phone, do they really accept text messages? Are they comfortable with those?
Yeah.
They get email, they don't understand DocuSign. So walking them through and training them with the DocuSign. So that's what I'm hearing you say that is important, is getting to know and understand what that is for that particular person.
Yeah, exactly. And also getting permission to copy, say, a daughter on the DocuSign. They own the house. It's their house. How much do they want their kids to know?
Yes.
They're,
And that permission is very important
yeah,
in that we're listing a property right now, and the seller has two sons. One son that is helping her and is fully involved in the process, does not yet have power of attorney, but she's working on giving him power of attorney to be able to take care of everything with the sale of the property. The other son, we are helping provide access for one day. And then once he has that access, we are instructed to change the locks, and he is not to be communicated with at all.
yeah,
And she has the right to dictate how she wants us to help her in getting her property sold. So
yep,
the other thing, with all of that is, do you do extra communication or logging of what the communication is, so that should any questions come up from any family members at any given time, that you have all of that information readily
yeah.
available?
Email and texting. Um, and in particular email, because state of Florida has a whole thing now about texting and you can, delete text and stuff. So there are certain things in particular. I'm like, hey, can you, I'm going to send you an email and it's going to say, as per our conversation, you agree to blah, 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 blah. Just respond back. Yes, I agree to that. Or yes, that's fine. I keep it simple, nothing's verbal, nothing, nothing, nothing. Like I have conversations, but I'll back it up with the email, just like a normal transaction anyways. I mean, we need to do that.
Right.
But you know, one of the things that I started doing was using Chat GPT to formulate certain emails and create templates on Gmail with it. And one in particular was a moving timeline, especially when family members are involved. So that if you've got family out of state, which we tend to have a lot because we're in South Florida, and you've got seniors and they're like, what are we doing? Like, I can't pack, right? I have to do this, this, or this. Um, I did a whole timeline recently, and it's really been pretty good because I just plugged in. This is when you need to start packing. This is when you need to make sure the charities are coming. This is when you need to make sure you have a moving quote. This is when you have to have people from your family come in town. I don't want them telling you when they're coming. I'm telling you when they need to be here
Yeah.
because I want you out of that house personally 2 days before closing in most cases, because the walkthrough can be 24 hours before and or the day of. And at the end of the day, sometimes they don't get all their stuff out in time. And that's really frustrating. So I finally thought, well, let me put this together. And then the other question I get is, what charities should I be calling? And so I know the right charities for them to call. Not all charities will take everything. And so they have to understand that just because it's a charity, they're not going to take all your crap. They want good stuff. It's going to good, resale stores. So I have to have that conversation. So I have it all now in an email, like
Nice.
very highlighted, this is what's going to happen and this is what I need. And in one situation, I kind of had to crack the whip and I called the referring agent and I said, look, it was a relative. And I said, this is what I need done. And I need it like yesterday. She's like, I'm on it. I was
Right. Nice.
like, yeah,
Yeah, it takes that village
Oh, yeah.
to really work with the seniors in the most effective way to guide them to make this as smooth as possible, knowing that typically it's a huge move for them. So I'd like to ask a couple questions that would be geared to, I know we have a couple people on here that haven't even started working with seniors. So what kind of advice could you give to people, to agents that are with us today that are like, okay, I want to start building my business with working with seniors. I know, like Johanna, who's on board, she's a current social worker, so she has that knowledge and background. I know that Jennifer has worked with senior clients already, a couple of them, and but they need to work on attracting more of this business. So what are some things that they could do to work towards attracting more sellers and even buyers that are in my category, in that senior category?
So I think the main thing is understanding if it's a good fit for you. I think a niche in general is the best way to go right now and for long term, no matter what it is. And then you need to understand the niche and know your why with this. So that's number one. With seniors, there's a lot of way that you can get involved with the senior market. One of the best ways is to get involved with some of the local nonprofits, especially the Alzheimer's Association. So, whenever I'm speaking on getting involved in a niche, especially sensitive ones like this, I think that agents need to collaborate and partner up with the local nonprofits. So, like I said, in this case, you could start going to some Alzheimer's events, get to know some of those folks, start getting out, get out of your damn office and go network in person. Oh my God, yes, in person. Whether that's at a chamber event, whether that is a event that's put on by a local senior networking group, and yes, they're in your community. Get to know the players. That's what I always say. Like, get to know the players. Where are they hanging out? Where do you need to hang out with them? Where are the monthly luncheons? Is there a happy hour? If you don't find anything in your community, start your own networking group. I did that and I was the only realtor in it, and I stand by that. I think it's a fantastic way to meet people, but you have to start networking, and the art of networking has gone way down the tube because of COVID. And newer agents and younger agents do not know really how to network. If you're going to go network and you're going to go to events, you want to position yourself as asking questions of the people that you're meeting. Ask them why they're in the business that they're in. If you meet an elder law attorney, find out why they chose to be an elder law attorney versus a personal injury attorney or a divorce attorney. Start signing up for Google alerts on senior information so that you can see the latest articles. What's going on in the senior world? What is a silver tsunami and why are they talking about it? What is silver divorce? Why are they talking about it? You might be a child of parents that need to downsize. So you've already experienced going through that. Like people who end up working with divorce, they may have gone through divorce and they understand the nuances. So it's no different than anything else. You have to study it and understand it, and then figure out how to market and brand yourself. What brings your special thing to the table that's going to make somebody want to connect with you, refer to you, and work with you.
And so in going to all your community, reaching out to the community, reaching out to senior centers, senior groups is a great way to create kind of that tribe that you were talking about earlier, of when you are meeting with your client, getting them connected with all the right people that fit into that timeline of, okay, we're listing your home.
Yeah.
Here are people that we have to help you with these different things. And this is then when your family members should be coming in place. But if you just start to work with the seniors and not know
Yeah.
that information of where to go for help, because it
Yeah.
does take a different provider to help a senior, a trash out company that is
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with older people and their attachment to things and how to work with them is going to be much better than a trash out person that's trashing out a short sale that just throws it all
Yeah,
away.
they're just throwing stuff. And yeah, with seniors, they have a lot of memories. And I learned this when I was really new at this, and it was a good lesson. And it was one of my move managers that referred a lot of business to me. And I don't know, I made a comment about a piece of artwork. It it needed to like be removed. It just didn't look good. It wasn't like it didn't look great for the photos and stuff. And it turned out it was something her dad had painted. So you have to be careful about what you say. And
Yeah.
that was a good lesson. That was a really, really good lesson that I learned. Come on in. And my lab is so awkward. Um, and that was a really good lesson. And yeah, when you have a good clean out guy or gal, whatever, that's worth the weight in gold. And there is a different nuance with that because, like a short sale, foreclosure, whatever, they're just going through it. This is more delicate. This is like, taking things out and moving things and packing things. So, and then Barbara asked about senior expos. I think senior expos are great to go meet people at. I would never get a table at one because I used to do them, but I would go just to do a couple laps and meet the people and see who you want to talk to and who wants to do collaborations. Like, um, I have a group here, in Boca that I set up. It's a private, group for my Soboka brand. And I have almost 2,000 people in it. And I have a couple of attorneys in there. And one is going to be doing something. And I literally reached out to her today. And it was funny though, her assistant was quite the little gatekeeper. She's like, "Well, you're not soliciting, are you?" And I'm like thinking to myself, "Well, yeah, of course I'm soliciting, but she's also like wanting to post something in my group, so it's fair game, right?" Anyway, she called me back. She called me back, and we're going to do something together. Like
Nice.
working with the attorneys is, not a scary thing. They want your help, and they're happy to refer to you. I just got a second referral. Um, from one of my elder law attorneys that is going to go live probably Thursday. I sent the photographer over yesterday. It was vacant. I've been kind of like not feeling great. I'm like, "Do you mind just going over there?" He's like, "No." Like, great.
We have somebody that asked about, setting up some pointers or sharing some pointers
Yeah.
and starting a senior network platform. And I
Yeah.
know, at our office here, we actually set up a new home center platform that we've worked on and are still working on with one of our lender partners. And but setting up different networking platforms, one of the ideas I came up with, and Michelle, I'm sure you'll have some great suggestions as well, but with one of the things that you were sharing, when you go to that expo, and you're not actually having a booth there, but you're working it, you're working the room. And so you're connecting with different people that work with seniors. And where my brain went with that is that would be a great way to create your networking platform. If there is an event going on, you're going to that event, letting different people that you feel a connection with, that you're looking to develop a senior networking program, and would they be interested in being part of that? And that could help create your initial core founding members by meeting those people at that expo.
Yeah.
So, and
Absolutely.
I apologize when that goes off. My husband is a diabetic, And that is his alarm letting me know.
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, good. I'm glad you all can't hear that because
Y'all can hear my dogs though.
it's really loud. It's probably a piercing sound that the computer doesn't pick it up. So I'm glad you can't hear it.
No.
So would you like to take off of that topic too? What are your thoughts on ways to create that senior networking platform?
Well, it's no different than a BNI or some of the other types of networking groups out there. You want to be the only realtor and then you want to bring in people that you can network with. It's as simple as that. You can do it at a local restaurant. You could do it at have a happy hour to start with. Stop. Um, and just work with the restaurant, have it sponsored. Like it doesn't have to be expensive. Between the title companies and the lenders and all these people that they want to get in front of people too, but just make sure it makes sense. Um, but when I was doing it, I would do one, I want to say like every other month. So like 6 times a year kind of thing. And, Barbara's here. I would do it over at the, Waterstone outside Barbara, like a not charcuterie, but just a veggie cheese thing and one free drink. And and that's how I kind of built that network. I like to have fun. So, not everything needs to be really super serious. It's about connecting and then finding out who has other groups. I think my biggest mistake back when I was doing it was trying to go to too many groups that were not as close to me. So I'm in Boca, it's 30 minutes to West Palm, 30 minutes to Lauderdale. Even though I service those communities, I got to tell you something. I'm 62. I freaking don't want to go anywhere in the morning anymore. I like having my coffee, working on my blog, working on my real estate stuff. I don't want to go to networking breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning anymore. So lunch or later, it works really well for me. I used to go to the chamber breakfast. I'd be up and out there, and I'm up at 5:30, but I'm like, I do not want to do this anymore. So I would find the groups that didn't have as many breakfasts like later on as I was doing it for a long time. But whatever works for you, lunch, all these restaurants have these rooms, you can just get a table and start off with like a handful, 5 people, an attorney, a move manager, a clean out person, a marketing director for assisted living. And the assisted livings don't mind hosting stuff either. You can always talk to them about doing events. I got sucked into something one year about food around the world. It's like the craziest thing at one of the assisted living things. But I mean, it was fun. And I connected with so many people and I knew so many people. It was good photo op stuff, so it's good. It's a good story to be able to put out there. That shows people in your sphere that you have expertise with working with that niche.
Right. And I think that's, brings us back to one of the beginning part of our discussion was being true to what you like to do.
Yeah.
Because if you're able to, showcase that and enjoy those events that really have nothing to do with real estate, have nothing to do with building your business, it's just about helping and working with seniors. So, and then the end
Yeah.
results are your sphere and the people that watch you through all your different social media platforms, but also the people that you reach out to personally in your sphere. You let them know about those types of events and things you're involved with, and they're
Yeah.
going to know that you would be able to work with their mother, their father, their aunt, their great aunt, because you have an understanding of working with older adults.
Absolutely. And, at the end of the day, it's just about that connection and showing up consistently. People will ask me what is my superpower? My superpower is being freaking consistent AF all day long. I can out consistent anyone. And I know that because I can really stay on task. And when I make my mind up about something, I'm like, I'm all in. I started a blog at 50 and a brand at 50. And I did that to complement my real estate business. But honestly, I was feeling burnt out and I needed something fun to do. What did I do eventually? I added a real estate section to it. What's in that real estate section? Stuff about real estate in my area. Oh, and seniors. Oh, and probate. But my overall blog, and I'll drop it in here. So if you guys want to, take a look, you can certainly subscribe.
Yeah,
You can
please
you
do
can
share your
see.
blog
So
with us.
I've got soboka.com, and it's probably been the funnest thing I've ever done. But at the same time, I'm able to kind of weave in a little bit of those niches that I really am passionate about, you know? And so I do. And at Real,
Thank
very
you.
fortunate to have Lofty, which is formerly Chime. And so I've built out landing pages for the consumer, so for probate and for senior downsizing. So it takes time, but right now agents have time. It's not a crazy busy market. It's a very interesting market. This is, in my opinion, one of the best times to build out your listing niche and start building it out in 30 days and know that it'll take 90 to really get things really, like, you'll start seeing some stuff happening. But if you don't, I think you're going to miss the opportunity. And 6 months from now, you'll be looking in that rearview mirror going, Shh, I should have listened to Michele. I should have been working with um, a listing niche with motivated sellers. And that's part of why I do what I do. I learned from the housing market crash in 2008 that I only really wanted to work with motivated sellers and motivated buyers. So right now, to me, the motivated sellers, downsizing, death, divorce, motivated buyers are relocation buyers all day long. So one little tip on relocation is get with your relocation people at your city and find out what companies are coming in and see who you might be able to work with, because they're usually on a tight time frame and they're ready to buy. And they may have a referral for you outbound. So just a side note on that. Do I work with, I used to. I'm thinking about jumping back into it, but I kind of stopped a lot of my memberships for a while. And I used to even have the SRES. I don't even have that anymore. The consumer doesn't even know what the heck that is. Like, it's great to take it, but ultimately I found it very light on the information. So unless you're out and about in the niche, that's where you learn all these, like, really, like, the nuances. But it's a good organization, NASMM. It's a good organization. There's another one I'm looking at right now. I can't remember the name of it. I sent something in. We'll see what happens if I get approved.
There's, with that, topic of, you know, there's so many different types of programs that you can go through and get those certifications and everything. And,
Yeah,
there's different ways of getting the education that you need. You know, in real estate, it seems like some people do get fixated on how many different types of credentials that they can put on their business card. And I think my personal opinion is that gets confusing to the general public.
yeah,
And if you're gonna do it, I started to put my BA on some things because I have my bachelor's degree in social work and bachelor's in social sociology, and I'm like, fine, I'm gonna start to put my credentials on,
I
and
know.
and it's like, but overall, ultimately, I find my success comes from being authentic, working my sphere, and making sure that people that know me, like me, and trust me will use me. And so, who do you want to put yourself out in front of
Right.
that you want to work with. And like Michelle is saying, she wants to work with motivated buyers and sellers, and it works towards putting herself in front of those people and
Right.
working a sphere and a pillar of working with seniors. Find where the people are that you want to work with. So going to the different type of expos and seminars that are geared towards older people, and be around them, surround yourself. And if you're in this meeting, you likely have that interest and that desire, but it's critical that you make a definitive decision if you're going to dedicate your time and energy to learn more and get credentials. And, by all means, I'm all about education, and getting that credential is more about what the knowledge is that you're going to put into practice. It's not about putting a label on your card and your marketing. It's about the knowledge that you get here, that you go out boots on the ground and put into practice. So, what is it that you really want to do with working with seniors, and why do you want to? And are you willing to put forth the effort to attend different types of events so you can be surrounded by the people you want to work with, so they can get familiar with you, so that they choose to work with you or refer you to the people that you want to work with?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And don't forget the nonprofits, they're gearing up. I'm starting to get emails and text messages about Alzheimer's walks. You can start a team, costs nothing to start a team. You can go to events locally. There's luncheons. You could purchase a table, or you could commit to a table, buy a couple tickets, invite people, and let them pay for their own tickets, brand it for you, the Bellisari Group at Real Broker. Um, and, really uh, grow your brand. I mean, when I started doing this, let me tell you something, Instagram wasn't the Instagram of today. It was Facebook, and I would do Facebook lives. And but now there's so much. I mean, look at where YouTube is. So one of my channels is all about real estate. And a good friend of mine, Christina Smallhorn, who I really adore, is a YouTube. She's amazing. Um, told me to kind of do some things with this channel, and I just haven't done much with it. And I literally, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it into a seniors and probate only channel. That's it. That's all it needs to be. Because everything else I'm on, I'm talking about little real estate, little lifestyle, my favorite restaurant, what my Captain Andy's cooking for dinner, like chili during this rainstorm stuff we had here in South Florida, you know. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's all that you can make it. And the interesting thing is, a friend of mine, um, Robbie Robbie Lynn has a daughter named Nurse Hadley. I don't know if any of you guys have followed Nurse Hadley on TikTok or Instagram. So she's like my daughter's age. Kylie's like 34. Anyway, she's a hospice nurse and
Mm.
she's young. Follow Nurse Hadley, because if you're a younger agent, you may have a passion for the senior, and you can really see like what Hadley's done. She now has a best-selling book. She has amazing stories about hospice and whatnot. And it's kind of interesting because she is so young and you don't think about it that way. But at the same time, your passion and compassion is what drives whatever niche you're going to be in. So I don't tell people to pick a niche nilly-willy. Like, it needs to make sense. It needs to be something you can talk about all day long in your sleep, and that you really, like Mr. Rogers says, like, be the helper. Be the helper. That's what he always says. Like, if you're in trouble, look around for the helpers. There's always going to be a helper. Well, we can be those helpers.
Yes. I love that. And with that statement, any other type of kind of summary or parting words that you would like to share? We have about 5, 10 more minutes to go, and we can also open it up for discussion too.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to unmute themselves and you have a specific question that you would like to ask.
Yeah. Feel free. I've got 5 minutes because I've got a $10 pizza waiting for me.
Oh, wow. Nice.
There's a place in town that has Tuesday nights $10 pies. And when I tell you they're like enormous. So who has a
Nice.
question for me? It can be, and it's not about seniors. If you have a question about just niching down, feel free.
Yeah, I don't, this is Johanna, and I'm sorry, you can't see me right now, but, no, I just want to thank you so much. I'm so grateful for your knowledge and everything the experiences that you shared. Um, I took care of my mom too before she passed. I'm very, very passionate about seniors, just empathy and just want to be there for them. So I love this. Thank you.
You're welcome. And your knowledge and experience is something you can carry with you as you're ready to carry it, because sometimes it's very close to your heart. But that experience helps out with your business because you've been through it. I have a lot of friends right now in real estate that are taking care of their parents because of Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that. And we have conversations. We're in Clubhouse and we have conversations about how to time block if you're a realtor and you are taking care of your older elderly parents, you know.
Yep.
And because it's like my parents are gone. I don't have that long goodbye. I'm actually, part of me half the time is like I'm sad because I miss my parents, but then I see what my friends are going through, and it's so challenging and difficult. Like I'm like, well, you know,
Yep.
so you just have to be able to decide like how you can use what you know.
Well, and with our household, we too have taken care of family members. We moved my husband's uncle from Florida to California. He never married, never had kids. He was 92. And we're like, Uncle Jimmy, just come and live with us. And so we moved him in with us. Then we bought a condo for him to live beside us because he's never lived with people.
Mm.
But in the interim, he lived with us for about 3 months before moving into the condo. And then shortly after, we were like, this isn't working out. We loved you living with us. Move back in. So he lived with us. He passed away about 2 years ago now.
Oh,
And then following that, my husband his career got stopped by COVID basically. And so he moved back to Pennsylvania to take care of his mom. And we were able to keep her at home for about a year, a little over a year. Unfortunately, her Alzheimer's progressed, and we fortunately got her into a good care facility before my husband had quadruple bypass surgery 2 weeks ago. So, all the experiences of that, you know, knowledge, I'm able to lean into that with talking with my clients and,
it's a relatability thing, right?
yes,
We don't want to take what we've gone through and overshadow the client, but when they understand that we dealt with some of these things and how hard it is, like I'll say to especially my probate um, clients, usually the women, I'm like, just so you know, if you need to cry, I'm okay with that. It's fine. And if you're having a bad day, I get that because I lost my mom at a very young age, and it was devastating. It was a short illness, it was lung cancer. And, she was misdiagnosed, blah, 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 blah. We were pretty young. We didn't have a lot of guidance. And would we have done things differently? Oh, hell yeah. But at the end of the day, it makes me more relatable when I'm working with my clients to say, I understand that you may not want to talk. So if I need something and I need it urgently, that's the one time that I'll ping you. If not, I'll try and give you a buffer in between when I need things.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. So,
Well, I appreciate Michelle being our guest today, and I hope that you all have taken some notes of some different perspective of working your sphere while serving seniors. Really appreciate you all being here and knowing that, when you serve your clients, serve them with kindness. Whether they're seniors or young people, we all need a little kindness. You never know the paradigm that somebody else is going through of why they need a little more patience and kindness. And as realtors, we do get beat up often, but it's our kindness back to people who beat us up that is going to really prevail. We do have two more questions.
go
We have a
ahead.
question from Holly and Johanna. Holly, if you want to go. We need to get you on. There you go.
There you go. It's been a while since I've done Zoom. Uh, Thank you so much. This is a great topic, and it's actually a topic that's near and dear to me. The community that I live in, my friends all tell me that I have retired because I live in an area that mostly it's made up of people that are in their 60s and plus, which is fabulous. I love the community. I'm part of their civic club board. I have brought in a probate attorney to come and speak to the group, which was one of the most filled audiences
Yeah.
as far as participation and attendance. I've thought about bringing in someone to talk about Alzheimer's.
Mhm.
Being not of the age yet that I've had to experience it necessarily on a personal level with my parents yet, I have had to experience it with my grandparents. Is there an easy way to bring this in, or should I allow someone on the board that might have more experience to be the one to introduce it to the community? That's my question
No,
number.
I think you sound like you're very passionate about what you're doing. And I think you're, like you said, you kind of inserted in the area where you live. So you're embracing it. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. I think it's great.
Any other besides probate and Alzheimer's? I don't announce to everybody that I'm a real estate agent when I'm sitting on the board. It's they just know it in the community.
Yeah.
So the idea of bringing someone in that is there to talk about moving or something like that, I don't want to get the stigma that I'm pushing my career on them.
Right.
Um,
No, I
so
get
also having somebody who's coming and talking about Alzheimer's, that doesn't fall into that category. Is there another group that kind of is similar to that that I need to bring to the forefront for them?
I mean, I think you're on the right track with the things that the seniors in particular are coping with. This is where ChatGPT is so good. You could put a prompt in there and create topics that you could bring speakers in for. Where are you located?
I'm in South Carolina.
You're in South Carolina. So there's usually experts on aging
Okay.
all over the place. So you could probably get an expert in aging. You could get an expert on brain health. You could get an expert on uh, like how to have conversations with someone who may know they need to move, but they don't want to move. Like things like that, because there's always going to be people who need to hear that, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe there's an author in the area. What colleges do you have in the area, by the way?
College of Charleston, MUSC, Charleston Southern, Clemson
Okay.
University.
So you could maybe see if any of them have departments that deal with aging and things like that and bring in some of the local experts.
Okay. And then
Mhm.
my last question, and sorry, can we, so I'm not manipulating things. One of the things that I'm trying to work on right now is the seniors are very prideful.
Yeah.
Um, and they don't ask for help, not willingly at all. I mean, it almost gets to the point that it's too little of an ask, way too late in the game.
Yeah.
So I am working on, instead of a food drive, more along the line of a senior drive of items that they would need that gives them a safe place to pick up for those things, such as adult diapers. Nobody wants to
Yeah.
ask for that.
No. Got it.
I know that with you working with seniors, do you know of a list of things that seniors would be asking for that they're not open to asking the public for? I know that in our community, there's so many of them that need repairs done to their house.
Yeah.
Um, so I've reached out to church groups, but the unfortunate part is that that senior has to ask and qualify for that. And if they're not making the ask, I can't force it to happen. But things such as supplies where I can get it from the community to donate and then give them a safe place to pick up, maybe it'll open up that communication a little bit in
All
a
right.
gentle way.
Here's an idea. So I just threw this in Chat GPT. I made a simple prompt. What items might seniors need that they don't want to ask for? Mobility aids like canes, walkers, grab bars. Grab bars are a big deal, by the way. I fell myself in February skateboarding with my younger daughter. Don't ask, don't judge.
I would
Anyway,
never get on a skateboard.
don't
I'm
even ask.
scared.
All I can tell you is I was out of town. It was Super Bowl weekend. I was also doing a collaboration with homes.com and I had to go back and do my video on the PR box. Let me tell you something. It was horrendous. It was
Oh.
terrible. And we drove home from St. Augustine to Boca and we stopped at Wawa, I think not in Fort Pierce, Port St. Lucie. And I went to the bathroom and I said to my husband, oh my God, I've never been so grateful in my life for grab bars because the way I fell, I hit my coccyx bone really bad. So when I tell you sitting to try to go to the bathroom was the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life. So mobility aids like grab bars, canes and walkers, household safety, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, emergency alert systems, daily living aids like reachers and grabbers, jar openers, large button phones, heating pads, electric blankets. I'm not a fan of that. Comfortable clothing, easy clothing to put on, compression stockings, hearing aid batteries, pill organizers. Um, to your point, home maintenance, assistance with minor repairs, home cleaning services, technology, tablets, smartphones, um, nutritional support, so meal delivery services, easy to prepare meals, transportation, assistance with transportation services, gas cards. So those are just a few, and I will
Yeah.
copy
The,
this.
the list goes on in that
Yeah, it
chat
does.
Yeah,
GPT
and I
for,
will,
for what it is. Yes.
I
what I'm
wasn't
going to
even thinking
do,
of that. I was thinking like ensure, just food that is easy, readily to go or whatever. I mean, our community really does come together, and I feel that if I make the ask, I can make it happen. I just didn't know what to ask for, and I wanted to be a little
no.
bit more specific, but
And now you know,
ChatGPT is a
even,
good place.
yeah, the diaper thing is, yeah, big deal. The other thing is they're not cheap. And
No,
so
they're
our
not.
junior league, Boca Raton does a diaper drive and it's very consistent, their diaper drive, because they're not cheap.
When you
So
say that you do the diaper drive, is that all that you take at that point is the diapers?
that's what Junior League here does. Yeah. They've done it for a long time. So you
And then
can,
Sometimes it is.
how do you go about dispersing those?
I don't know. I'll find out. I know the person who's coordinating it now. I'll find out about
Sometimes
that
it is. Sometimes it is good to just focus on like that
one item.
one
Yeah.
item, one category. That's how I do it when I do my different food drives, really working on, bringing it into more specific, because then it's not as confusing. And then you're not getting donations of, a
Too
lot.
much stuff you don't need.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot more difficult to really take it to the places and everything as well.
Yeah.
Well, we are at our time's end. So, Michelle and Holly, it'd be good for you to connect up
Yeah, connect with me,
more with
Holly.
that too. Michelle, thank you so much for being part of today's session. Really
welcome.
appreciate it. Appreciate getting to know you a little bit more. Love seeing you on our Real Work Academy. We appreciate all of the guests that joined us today from all different companies, and look forward to hopefully having the ability to connect with all of you again in the future. So be kind, be nice, do an act of kindness that makes a difference in somebody's life, and realize that it could just be your simple smile that could uplift them for the day. So wish you all a great one. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks all. And feel free to reach out to me. I'm very accessible. You can reach out to me on a DM on Instagram at the Michelle B. Last thing, I will be teaching in the Academy tomorrow, niche domination. So you're welcome to join me at 3 o'clock tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks
Bye,
again.
guys.
Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Wish you a great one.
Thanks.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.